In today's video, I'm going to show you one of the most important things that you need to do in order to look after your back, and in particular your spinal discs. Now, the reason this is important is research is starting to show us that there are signs of degeneration and wear and tear occurring in younger and younger people. In one study, like this one here from the journal Radiology, showed that 26% of 15-year-olds in the study had signs of wear and tear. And now these were kids that had no pain. And then 38% of the 15-year-olds that had some sort of back pain showed signs of wear and tear. Another study found that some kids as young as 10 were showing signs of wear and tear. And it's quite a scary statistic, really. And with our ever-increasing sedentary lifestyle, it's important now more than ever that we start to look after our back, and in particular our spinal discs. And that's what I'm going to show you in today's video. Just before we start today's video, I just want to let you know that we have our 7th birthday celebration running at the moment, where we have a $35 new patient special, where the initial visit will be $35 instead of the usual $80. If you want to make the most of this, give the clinic a call on 413-5312. We can get you in, and this is running until the end of November 2020. Hi, I'm Craig from Elevate Chiropractic, and I've been helping people get over their back pain, but also preventing back pain for the last 13 years. So in order to know what we need to do to look after our spinal discs, we need to actually know how they work. So our spinal discs are obviously part of our spine, and they sit in between our two vertebrae, and they allow us to have the movement and flexibility that our spine has, but also more importantly, they act as a shock absorber. Okay, as they begin to wear out, they often will lose their height, and that's often associated with bony spurs that form on the vertebra above and below. Once they start to lose their height and these spurs form, you can easily see those on x-rays. One thing you may not realize about the spinal discs is that they don't have any direct blood supply. But like all tissues in our body, they need to have this blood supply in order to get the nutrients and all the good stuff to keep them healthy, but also to take away the toxins that build up as well. So if it doesn't have any blood supply, a direct blood supply, how does it get it? And it gets it through a process called imbibition, okay, which is a fancy term, but basically what it does is it absorbs it from the vertebra above and the vertebra below. The way it does that is through movement. So moving our spine and our discs forms, or sort of pushes or allows that blood to go into the discs in order for them to stay healthy. Now, because our lifestyles are getting more and more sedentary, we're not moving as much, so it's not getting as much blood, so they begin to wear out quicker. And that's one of the theories about why this is starting to occur in younger and younger people. So the answer to the question is, what's the most important thing that you need to do to look after your discs, is make sure you're moving your spine regularly. So I'm going to show you a couple of my favorite ways of doing this so that you can hopefully start to make some positive changes to the way that your lower back in particular and your lower back discs are working. So the first tip here is just to make sure that we are moving our back as regularly as we can. When it comes to office workers, which is where we see this most, we're often sitting there sedentary in front of our computer. So very simply, what we want to do is make sure you're having regular breaks so that we can actually start to get some movement into those joints. Ideally, we'd say every 20 minutes to half an hour, but at least regularly, you want to get up, do a couple of movements, some stretches, bend over, touch the ground, whatever you want to do, but we just want to try and move that spine regularly. So the second tip here is to use a device like an air cushion. Now, I've sold heaps of these in the clinic over the last year or so. It's a fantastic way of adding some movement into your spine. So basically what you do is you pop this on your seat, you sit on it. And when you're sitting on it, it creates an unstable surface, forces you to move, great for core activation. But what you can do with this is, like, say, every half hour, you can do a few pelvic tilts and some rotations, really to get those joints and those discs in your lower back moving and working a little bit better. I do have these in the clinic. If you want to pop in and have a look, by all means come do that. I'm happy to show you. But really great device, much easier than using like an exercise ball, which if you stand up it rolls off and you have to get rid of your chair. This can just plonk, you can just plonk this on top of any chair, sit on it for a while. If you get sick of it, you can take it off. No need to switch around chairs, but such a great little device, but really beneficial. So the third tip here will be just getting some movement through some appropriate stretches, yoga exercises, those types of things. One of my favorite ones I always suggest for people is the yoga, that cat-cow or that cat-camel. Depends on who you're learning it from, but really it's a nice simple way of just getting some movement through those joints in your lower back. At least do it daily, but a couple of times a day would be a great option for that. So the fourth tip here is one of my favorite things to do, at least for my own back, and I show this to a lot of people in the practice, is an exercise that's called the Hourglass Exercise. Basically what you're going to do is you're going to stand up, and then we're going to basically go in an hourglass motion where our pelvis is going in the opposite direction from our shoulders and our head. Now ideally we're going to keep our head in the same motion, so we don't want to just keep looking in the same direction. And you're going to go as big as you can, making sure it's pain-free. That's the most important part. We don't want to take this into pain, okay? If you have back pain, then this is another good exercise to do, but your motion might only be very small. But really important here is to make sure that it's pain-free, okay? And I would do, say, 10 circles one direction, 10 circles in the other direction. Really simple way of adding some movement to your lower back and the joints of your pelvis and your hips. Great way to do it when you're having your break from sitting. So every half an hour you can get up, do 10 of those one way, 10 another way, and your body will really thank you for that. Hopefully you found this video useful and you're going to be able to use some of those tips to help keep your back healthy and functioning well. If you have been suffering from a few aches and pains and you really want some one-on-one help with that, then make sure you make the most of our $35 new patient special, which is part of our 7th birthday celebration. If that is the case, give the clinic a call on 413-5312 and we can find a time for you to come in as soon as possible so we can help get you back on track. But I look forward to seeing you soon. Take care. Bye.